Hello, welcome everyone to the first ever episode of the Jester Says podcast. This is basically going to be a weekly gaming related podcast where I run through all the latest news in the gaming universe and industry. I have a couple of topics to speak about each week, and that's about it. Hopefully, in the future, I aim to put in some sort of interaction segments then where you can sort of ask questions, maybe offer some topics, and have get a bit of a discussion going. So, well, trying to figure out everything as I go along. I'm not really sort of going to be editing much of this. It'll be a case of nice sort of tight knit podcast that when is over, I'll put it onto YouTube. So all the sort of bloopers they kind of stay in, and I think that's the sort of the thing about sort of being authentic and review. So we'll see how it goes. Um, yeah, and hopefully I'll get out some annoying habits like saying all the time. So let's go into the first sort of main segment of what the podcast will be, which is what's new. So that is basically all the news that's happened throughout the week. Now, I am going to go a bit further than just the week because the week before we had quite a few different sort of streaming events happen that brought a lot of news. So, without further ado, let's talk about the Dragon Quest stream that happened on Thursday, the 27th, something like that. Someone check the date. um, we got a good couple of games from that, some of which won't be coming over to the West being sort of the Americas and Europe, of course. So what we've got is Dragon Quest Keshi Keshi, which is a free-to-play mobile game. It's like a puzzle type of game. Most mobile games seem to be, and that'll be coming in 2021. Then we have Dragon Quest X, which is the MMO. That's only over in Japan area at the moment. There's a new expansion coming, but there's no plans for a worldwide release, which is not great. But I mean, it was there, and that's in 2021. Then we have Dragon Quest X Offline, which is like normal Dragon Quest X, but you can primarily play it offline, so you can still sort of go through the story, the lore, and kind of experience the game without having to journey into the online adventure. And there's a different visual style to the game. It's more of a kind of like, I guess, a chibi style, if anything. And that's coming in 2022. Once again, no sort of worldwide release detailed. Then we get onto the stuff that we will be getting over here in the United Kingdom, Americas, Europe, all that kind of stuff. And that's Dragon Quest 3 2D HD remake. For those who aren't familiar then with the like 2D HD stuff, Octopath Traveler, that's the sort of first one that was kind of branded as the 2D HD games from Square Enix. You got Project Triangle Strategy coming, hopefully uh, next year, I think was the release date for that, and that's more of a sort of tactical RPG, whereas Octopath was more of a turn-based RPG. So the Dragon Quest 3 remake that's going to be 2D HD, that just looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's a simultaneous worldwide release, so it should launch at the same time across the globe. Then we have Dragon Quest Treasures, which is a spin-off RPG of the sort of series. There'll be a worldwide release featuring some of the characters, I believe, from Dragon Quest 11. Someone might want to correct me on that. And then finally, to end the show, they had the one that I'm most looking forward to. I still need to get through Dragon Quest 11 or start it, I guess. But Dragon Quest 12, The Flames of Fate, finally got revealed. It was a kind of a dark looking trailer. It was more sort of gritty. It was like more stone and fire aesthetic than anything else. And that is also going to be a simultaneous worldwide release by the looks of it. Unconfirmed platforms, so I guess sort of watch the space for that. Then we had the state of play which heavily featured, well, only featured, I guess, the Horizon 2 Forbidden West gameplay. Uh, Looks absolutely stunning. I'm not gonna lie. So when it comes to gaming, I am more sort of Nintendo and Xbox. Uh, my PlayStation is more my exclusive machines, and I don't really even play all the exclusives. So that's just a kind of warning slash hint of what you're gonna get through this podcast. I'll obviously play a lot of the PlayStation exclusives, give my thoughts on them. I'll try and give you all the latest PlayStation news, but I am more geared towards Xbox and Nintendo. Primarily, I guess, out of just time. I don't have time to play every platform currently. I will one day, but currently not. The Horizon 2 looks absolutely stunning. The gameplay looks quite uh, refreshed, quite tight. It looks rewarding then, going through the world, different. I guess I never played one, but looking at two, there's quite a lot of different um, battle mechanics you can use to overcome the enemies in your way and what have you, and it just looks great fun. Then we had the Sonic stream, and that brought, I think it was like three announcements, and that had Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is, I think Sonic Colors was on the Wii U, something like that. But it was is an older title, and that's coming on the 7th of September this year. Then we got, was it 7th of September? Or am I reading that wrong? And is that an American date? Let's double check as we go along. Let's double check. So don't want to be giving out the wrong information. That would be terrible. Sonic Colors Ultimate is coming. That's all I want to know. The release date. And it appears no one can give me that. Sonic Colors Ultimate. No. Well, we'll say 7th of September. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It could be the 9th of July. Who knows? So Sonic Origins then, which is the sort of all the classic games condensed into one. So you'll get 1, 2, 3 Knuckles and CD, which is massive in terms of sort of collections and compilations. This is the one that everyone seemed to have wanted and what everyone's getting. So more Sonic is great for everyone. I'm not the biggest Sonic person. I'm more, I guess, kind of started playing after Sonic, and I never really sort of got too much into it. I prefer your Mario, your Donkey Kong, Pokemon, Spyro, that kind of stuff. Then we got the new 3D Sonic game, or apparently 3D Sonic game, that's going to be coming in 2022, which I'm guessing more will sort of come from that later on. So yeah, that's Sonic. Next up, we have Dying Light 2, Stay Human, which is the new subtitle for it, as sort of revealed last week. Um, and that is coming out on the 7th of December. We had a quite a long look at the gameplay of it. Looks just as fun as the first one, if not even more. It's heavily sort of parkour and free running based. A lot of physical weapons, then um, melee weapons. Don't seem to be many sort of guns and that involved, which is good. It's going to be interesting to see how they sort of take that and how they can keep the fighting, I guess, refreshed, um, and not have it become sort of stale and boring as you progress throughout the game. Then we had the House of Ashes gameplay from the Dark Pictures anthology. For some reason, every time I go to say it, I want to say the Dark Horse anthology, and I don't know why. I think Dark Horse is like a comic thing, isn't it? Um, Once again, no firm release date. That's showing 2021 still. So I'm hoping, if I had to give it a guess, surely October would be the right time to release this kind of game. Um, Only time will tell. There is a Bandai Namco sort of E3 um, presentation slash stream coming up uh, for E3 week, and maybe we'll get to see more there and maybe a firm release date. We had Far Cry 6 gameplay from our good friends at Ubisoft. Uh, just a bit more of a deep dive then into what you can expect to do in the world of Far Cry. I think the difficult one for me, so I'm not massive on all the sort of Ubisoft open world games. It got to a point where it's like you've played one Ubisoft open world game, you've played them all. They just seem to be the same kind of thing, just reskinned. But this looks good. It looks fun. It looks kind of like that mix between tough, gritty, with that sort of Ubisoft humor and charm that they're known for. There's a cute dog in it. That's a plus. It's an awesome disc launcher CD thing that plays music when you go to fire. That looks cool. And that is coming out on the 7th of October 2021. So the end of this year is already stacking up and we haven't even hit E3 yet. That is the sort of most hype thing about E3 now, is that so we've got Dying Light 2 that's coming in December, Far Cry 6 in October, and everything's just sort of start building up, and it's like, right, what else are we going to get? So is Halo coming this year for definite? If so, when's it launching? A couple of other games like Horizon 2, so they've still said they're on track for the end of 2021, but there's no firm date, so that could slip. They've already had to delay God of War to next year, which is completely fine at the end of the day. Take your time, cook the product, and I'll be ready to eat it then in its final state and hopefully be satisfied. Then I think this past Tuesday we had the Warhammer Skull showcase. Nothing, so I'm not well versed in Warhammer, if I'm honest. There was a couple of cool trailers and announcements. I did watch the showcase. I think the key ones would be sort of um, Warhammer 40k Shooters Blood and Teeth was a world premiere, and that was like a 2D almost side-scrolly platformer, and it had this sort of cartoonish um, art style. It looked fun. Once again, not for me. Hopefully, it is for some of you out there. Blood Bowl 3, we had a first look at some gameplay as well as the Elven Union team, I guess you call it. I know Blood Bowl is really big for a lot of people, so go check that out if you're interested. And we also have Warhammer 40k Lost Crusade. There was a new trailer for that as well. And that's just three of the um, many things that they had on show. There was a lot of updates for some of the already out titles, um, new sort of trailers, new expansions, updates, that kind of stuff. So if you're interested, I'd recommend go watch the showcase. And then we get to the present, which is, well, E3's right around the corner. Everyone started announcing all their different conferences, what time they're going to be, and hopefully we can maybe fast forward to next weekend, because I'm in overload at the moment between all the news. And well, let's have a run through the schedule. So I guess we'll start from Wednesday. So Wednesday, June 9th, we get the Battlefield reveal. Now, Battlefield, easily one of my most anticipated games of the year. I love the Battlefield series. I am a first-person shooter kind of person anyway. When it comes to what genres I play, it's shooters, it's RPGs. That is typically me in a nutshell. I do play a lot of games, a bit of everything, but those are my, I guess, specializations, um, if we're talking in RPG terms. So with the Battlefield reveal, I'm hoping that will feature some gameplay. That is primarily what I want to get out of Battlefield. I want to see, what's it going to play like, what it's going to feel like, what kind of new advancements they're going to make, or are they going to, I guess, maybe not advancements, but are they going to sort of showcase then their sort of um, level break-in features that you can do, where you can just tear buildings apart. Um, that's always the massive thing about Battlefield. It's large scale warfare, and it feels like it when you're there in the trenches, um, everything going off around you, planes fighting in the sky, or the tanks rolling across the map, shooting going on left, right, and center. It puts you right into the middle of the fight, and that is the most sort of important thing, is immersion. I want to be immersed. So Wednesday, please, EA, immerse me. And then Thursday, June 11th, is June 11th, June 10th, sorry. Um, we have the Summer Games Fest kicking off with the kickoff live, and that's looking quite packed. So that'll be at 7 p.m. In all the times I say will be in the UK time. So I'm not gonna keep saying British summertime or what have you. I'll just say 7 p.m. and you'll know it's for the UK. The kickoff live will feature apparently 30 plus trailers featuring new reveals and apparently long awaited, long anticipated updates of games. So that will be quite interesting. Um, that is actually one of the sort of showcases that I'm kind of really hyped for then. Unfortunately, I won't be streaming that one because I'll be in work, but as soon as I finish work, I'll be on media blackout as soon as 7 p.m. hits anyway. I'll rush home, I'll watch it, and then I'll enjoy. After that, Friday, June 11th, there's quite a lot going on. Maybe not as much as some of the other days, but this is where we start hitting everything full force. So 5 p.m. then you have Netflix Geeked Week. So Netflix are hosting their own show, which will kind of celebrate gaming, movies, comics, TV, and such. And I I don't know what to expect. If I'm honest, I'll be watching it with an open mind. I guess the main thing to say about that. 8 o'clock then we have Coke Media with a Coke Prime Time stream. Not too sure about this one. It seems that I don't know what to expect now because Deep Silver have come out and said, look, there's not going to be Dead Island, there's not going to be Saints Row, and I'm just like, well, that's all I wanted. So I'll um I'll wait and see. It has killed the sort of hype, but it is nice to have that expectation set in terms of, look, you're not going to see these games, don't expect them, but there are some other stuff maybe you will enjoy. I have no idea what that's going to be. I'm hoping to remain, you know, leak free, spoiler free, and all that, so I could just go in and hopefully be surprised. Then at 9 o'clock, IGN are hosting their IGN Expo, almost like the Summer Games Fest kickoff live in terms of they'll just have a bunch of games that they're ready to kind of show trailers for and what have you. Moving on to Saturday, June 12th, you have the Guerrilla Collective sort of showcase, which is part two because the first one happened uh, yesterday on June 5th. So we'll get a lot of indie sort of titles and what have you be revealed. Then at 6 o'clock will be the Wholesome Direct. So that'll be a game where it's literally just calm, relaxing, soothing, chill, wholesome games. 6 o'clock then as well, you have the E3 2021 pre-show begins for Saturday, June 12th. So there'll be a pre-show sort of on every day of E3. 6 o'clock that goes live. I'm guessing between 6 and 8 is where they're gonna maybe put the sort of miscellaneous stuff then. 8 o'clock, you have the Ubisoft Forward. Now that'll be, Ubisoft has always been one of the big ones. It's always been Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo as the three sort of platform holders. I guess PC Gaming Show, but they don't hold the platform sort of thing. So yeah, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, and then EA, Ubisoft. I guess Square kind of fits into that as well. Bethesda. That would be it. Now Bethesda has merged with Xbox, so that's one gone. EA has gone to July for some reason, and there's no Sony this year. So it there's only a few of these big ones that I'm really kind of like, okay, what have you got to show? I'm ready for more. Give me the hype. So Ubisoft Forward at 8 o'clock. We'll discuss that more in a bit when I give my sort of predictions. Then we have 9:30, the Devolver Digital event. That Devolver Digital is one of those kind of just what the hell. It's weird. I'm kind of into it, so we'll watch it. And then the two to be announced sort of time-ins are the Gearbox Entertainment, I don't know, showcase presentation thing. Now, I don't know what to expect from it. It could be 5 minutes long, it could be 30 minutes long. Who knows? I guess we'll find out more next Saturday. And then the other one is the session with GamesBeat. And once again, I'm not too familiar, so we'll see what that entails next week. Moving swiftly on to Sunday, June 13th. So, not gonna lie, this is probably this is the big one for me, the main big one. There's two big ones. 4:45 then, E321 pre-show begins for Saturday. If you see the curtains move, that's because I have a almost 3-year-old dog running about the place. Um, yeah, and then at 5:45 there's I guess an update on Naraka Bladepoint. Not not a game I'm too familiar with at the moment, but it does look quite interesting. Can't wait to see what they have to show. And then the big one, 6 p.m. next Sunday on June 13th. Xbox, Bethesda, Game Showcase, and I cannot wait. But I need to sort of tone down the hype there because we'll talk about that in my prediction stuff. So moving on from there, 8:15, you have the Square Enix Presents. They've already kind of set the tone. They've said, this is what you're going to see, and we'll. Yep, my headset went off, and I'm back. All the perks of live, I guess. So Square Enix presents at 8:15 on Sunday. Then at 10 o'clock, we have the Back for Blood PvP showcase. Now, Back for Blood is another game that I'm heavily anticipating for this year, especially because Left 4 Dead is one of my favorite game series of all time, and it's Left 4 Dead rebranded, refreshed, some new mechanics, new game modes by the looks of it. I can't wait. 12 o'clock midnight, then you have the Future Game Show. I'm guessing PC Gaming Show fits around somewhere between the Xbox and the Future Game Show thing. Where it goes, nobody knows. And then the other to be announced segment is Warner Brothers. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to expect from that either. Hopefully, we'll get the time-ins of all these kind of random ones ASAP so I can actually build my schedule and inform everyone of what my stream schedule for that week looks like because I'll be streaming all the reactions and the conferences themselves for your viewing pleasure, but mostly mine, I guess. I like to watch it back. And then Monday, June 14th, the show begins at 4 o'clock with the E321 pre-show for that day. 9 o'clock, you have the Limited Run Game Showcase, which Limited Run, if you don't know who they are, basically they take all these sort of niche titles that wouldn't normally get a physical release and they give them a physical release, normally in some form of kind of special editions and what have you. Really cool what they do in terms of game preservation and what have you. Uh, then at 11 o'clock, you have the Razer keynote. So, Razer, for those who don't know, is a sort of PC and gaming peripheral accessory business. They do keyboards, mice. Let's go with mice. Mice is plural. Mouse pads, controllers, just anything sort of PC and gaming related. They typically do. Interesting to see what they're going to show. Once again, is one of those things where it's like it's weird that they'll have their own sort of keynote slash showcase as part of E3, but I am interested. I love Razer products. I've got quite a lot myself, and um, maybe I'll have some more in the future. Who knows? And then you got a ton of the to be announced time-ins, and that will be Take-Two Interactive, Capcom, both. They never have an E3 presentation, and this is where it just gets wild. And I think expectations may be getting set a bit too high. I'm kind of looking at them as like, oh, they could be like 10-minute long things where they only just be like, oh, we wanted to give you an update on this game, and that is it. That's what I'm saying my expectations as. Obviously, I have wishes and I have, what I want, but we don't all get what we want, unfortunately. And then you also have mythical games, freedom games, both of which I'm not too familiar with. Don't know what that is about. I will obviously be watching, so I hope to learn more there. And then Verizon and Intellivision as well. Then the final day of E3, or the official final day of E3, because E3 for last year and this year seems like it's just going to take on a kind of life of its own and last for months. And then Tuesday, the show begins at 4 o'clock again with the E3 2021 pre-show. 5 o'clock, you get the second big one for me. And I mean big, massive, like anticipation levels are through the roof. The Nintendo Direct for E3 2021. Someone pitched me. I think I'm dreaming. After that, at 5:45, roughly, because they've said the sort of Nintendo Direct lasts about 40 minutes, and then they'll have Nintendo Treehouse last for about 2 to 3 hours after that, which will host all the gameplay, which I'm hoping means the Direct will be trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer, limit the gameplay to the sort of games that you really want to host in the Direct, and then put the gameplay stuff in the Treehouse event. And then the to be announced games, the to be announced showcases and stuff for the Tuesday would be Bandai Namco, Eureka Games, and the official E3 2021 award show. Seems weird to have that sort of award show, but I suppose to celebrate in the future of video games and the most anticipated stuff. And if you're squeaking, that is once again a damn dog running about the place causing havoc. Yes, she's adorable though. And that's it for the schedule. I mean, you have stuff further ahead, stuff like EA will be hosting their sort of EA Play Live in July of something. Let me just double check. July 22nd. You also have July 6th, the Nacon Connect, if that's how you say it. You also have June 25th, the Impact Direct, and Wednesday, June 16th, kicks off the Steam Next Fest. So let's have a look. What else have we got? That was all for the what's new stuff. Anyway, we've caught up now from last week all the way to the here and now. And let's get into our sort of first, and because it's such a massive one, this will be the only topic then of today's show, and that is the E3 predictions and wishes. So, let me tell you something. I don't lie when I say I am beyond hyped. It feels like forever since we've had this sort of coming together of all these conferences, all these showcases, and it's just going to be a whirlwind. I'm hoping that I last through it and I just don't die of overload hype. Um, but we'll see how we get on. I mean, it'll be a good way to go nonetheless. So let's kick it off with the Gearbox Entertainment kind of thing. Because once again, I don't know what it's going to be. Could be just showing one game, could be a few games. I'm going to go in with the expectation that it's just going to be a sort of one and done kind of thing. I'm not too familiar with Gearbox in terms of, like, I don't know how many studios they've got. I don't know how many games they could be working on at once. All I do know is that they're due to sort of unveil this project 1v1 that they've been working on for years. And I'm guessing this that probably the perfect time to do that. They'll have their own little presentation showcase that they can be like, look, here's our next day game. It comes out later this year. And I think that'd be a nice sort of cool thing to be like, oh wow, this is Gearbox. Welcome to the club. Next up, Devolver Digital. Now, even though I guess they could be classed as one of the big ones, maybe in terms of they've been doing these showcases for the past couple of years. Um, they're very weird. They have these kind of ongoing, I guess, in jokes and what have you. They call it the Devolver Digital Cinematic Universe, I think, where they kind of continue like a story into each one. It's been fun to watch. Not a lot of titles sort of resonate with me from Devolver Digital. Um, I'm I don't know why, it's just the way it goes. Serious Sam, love Serious Sam. That's mainly what I care about from them. However, they have said 5 new games to reveal. Now that's quite big for them. 2 release dates to drop as well, which I'm guessing if they got release dates, they probably this year. I would have to imagine, just because the way things are. Why I know plenty of gaming publishers and developers do it, but why would you release a date so far away, knowing full well you might not even hit it? It's better to just be like, right, we know we're going to be ready for this day, let's do it. And hopefully that'd be nice for Devolver Digital to be like, look, we got these 2 games coming out later this year, these 5 new games on the way. That'll be a cool conference to watch. Next up, Take-Two Interactive. So this is the one where expectations could be running amok for a lot of people, and I just want to say, stop, 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 stop. This isn't going to be a GTA 6 reveal. There's just no way. We're due GTA 5 next gen later this year. Um, so yeah, you're not going to get GTA 6 anytime soon. They're probably taking their time. They want to release it when I guess they stop making money on GTA 5, which I don't think will ever happen. Uh, but I just don't think GTA 6 is going to be here. However, what I do think might show up is something like maybe a Red Dead Redemption remaster, where they're like, oh, this is how it looked. Look at how it looks on the new um, Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. 4K, increased frame rates, that kind of stuff. Maybe a sort of more of a fresh coat of paint in terms of maybe ray tracing and some extra sort of stuff they can add into the mix. The other stuff then is like it could happen. So the next NBA, yeah, would be a good place to sort of showcase that. Borderlands, maybe. I don't think we're too far off um, the last Borderlands, so it'll be interesting to see if they've already got the sort of next one cooking and lined up, ready to kind of present. GTA expansions and updates I expect to make an appearance, so we do the next gen stuff. We know that we'll probably get a trailer for that as well, and they may sort of detail, look, this is what's even more coming along the way, or what you can play until until the next gen releases. My big get hyped prediction that I'm praying for. So it's a game series that is one of my favorites of all time. Absolutely love the first game, love the second game, didn't play the third game. I don't know if you're sort of guessing what I'm going to say, but my prediction, Take-Two Interactive, Bioshock. The next game is revealed. That's Bioshock. If that would make my E3, even without the other stuff. Take everything else out, and if they just gave me Bioshock revealed, I would be happy. But that's not what all we're getting. So yeah, I think I'll be happy nonetheless. But yeah, Bioshock is just one of those series where it's like, come on, it's been too long. Give us that next one. We know it's being worked on. Please just give it to me. Next up from Take Two then would be the Capcom event. Once again, it's like it's the wild card. It's the potential dark horse. They could be bringing anything. You've got Monster Hunter Stories 2 coming out now next month. Next month? Yes, technically we are in June now, so yeah, July. Um, Pragmata, we haven't seen that for ages since the sort of one of the PS5 showcases. No, was it the PS5 or the Xbox? No, PS5 one. Um, yeah, Pragmata is one of those. It's a new kind of sci-fi adventure. I think from the first trailer, from first glance, it was like, "Is this Death Stranding?" No, it's Pragmata. It's from Capcom, and I think that was the biggest surprise once, like at the end of the trailer, it was like, "Oh, Capcom." It's like, whoa, okay, doing something different, and I appreciate different. So after that, could see. That's this. The thing is, one of those things like surely they wouldn't have these. They wouldn't hype it as like, oh yeah, they have their own presentations without having some good stuff. So what other series are they known for? Mega Man, Devil May Cry, Street Fighter. I don't think any of those. Devil May Cry, we not long had one. I I think they're probably going to have a break. They're going to build up the next one in another couple of years' time. However, Hideaki Itsuno is working on his next game. Now, he did Devil May Cry 5. He was the director of that. He was also executive producer of Dragon's Dogma. Is Dragon's Dogma 2 on the way? We could see a reveal. I'm not maybe not going to say that as my prediction because I don't know how. Uh, I don't think. No, I don't think it will show. But it's nice to speculate. My wish for the Capcom one, and not everyone will wish for this. I know I'm going to be in the niche market for this. I'm going to be on my own on the bench, being like with my sign saying, "Give me Dead Rising 5." Just please. I love zombie games. Granted, lately, well, past 5 to 10 years, there's been a lot of zombie games, but Dead Rising is it's a different type of zombie game, whereas some of the others have been a more sort of yeah, kind of realistic, kind of gritty thing. Dead Rising has always been that fun in games thing, customize your vehicles, customize your weapons, and just go nuts basically. Dead Rising is so. I, my first thing with Dead Rising was on the Xbox One launch day. Dead Rising 3 came with it, and I was like, I just got to. And I absolutely had a blast with Dead Rising 3. Then a couple of years later, was it 2016, 17, something like that? Dead Rising 4 came out, and that was the perfect game in terms of fun. Just come in and have fun, especially when it was set at Christmas time. There was just good times to be had. My prediction, however, and I want to say it's probably an easy prediction. I mean, it surely come in and that's a Resident Evil 4 remake. Capcom are killing it with all these remakes. So RE2 was nominated Game of the year it came out. Now that's huge for a remake to get nominated for that. And it happened obviously with Final Fantasy VII remake as well. But Resident Evil 2 remake, like they're not my games. I can't play horror games. My heart can't take it. But I appreciate those types of games, especially the sort of history and lineage that Resident Evil has. It it's spectacular, really. Resident Evil 4 remake. That's my prediction, um, and it'll probably be another one of those. Here's Resident Evil 4 remake, and it launches January. I could see it happening because that's typically where they've lived. I think it was. No, actually no. I think RE. Yeah, RE2 remake was it got shown and then it was like, oh, release it in January something, I think. Once again, some people will keep me honest in the chat. Okay, moving on from Capcom, we have Bandai Namco. This sort of a lot of these, they are huge publishers, but they've never done an E3 presentation, so it's another sort of it's a weird one. You can't quite predict it. You could probably maybe assume some stuff that's going to be there. So Scarlet Nexus, Tales of Arise, two big JRPGs coming from them over the next uh, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. Got House of Ashes potentially. That could have another bit of a trailer with hopefully a release date that says this October. Here you go. The one that everyone's talking about, the one that everyone wants, of course, is Elden Ring. Now, I with Elden Ring, I don't know where to really begin. So we had that little bit of a trailer a couple of years ago. Haven't heard anything since. Apparently, it was worked on since 2017, I think. It could be time for it to rear its head and give us maybe an in-depth cinematic at least. Hopefully, a bit of gameplay as well. But I don't know whether that'll be at the Bandai Namco showcase or maybe it'll happen earlier on in the week, the sort of full reveal, or maybe a new trailer, and then Bandai Namco could do like a second kind of rehash of the trailer with gameplay. I could see something like that happening, and I would welcome it. Elden Ring's one of those I could probably safely assume it's not going to be my cup of tea. I'm not a Souls person in any way, so we'll see how it goes. It could be the one that turns me to the Souls side. Another one is, well, the final kind of like, what's it going to be is Warner Brothers. So once again, it's the crazy thing. They've never had their own showcase conference thing, so it feels weird that we've got all these new ones added in. So we've lost Sony, we've lost EA. Well, actually, if all of these are doing kind of decent kind of showcases, this more than makes up for it. At the Warner Brothers one, so let's have a look what we have come in. So Gotham Knights, we know that's on the way. It got delayed. I'm happy for it to get delayed. At the end of the day, it's not my cup of tea. In term, I mean, it could be my cup of tea. I'm not a big DC person, but if they show me a pretty good gameplay trailer, I'll probably be well into it. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I am heavily interested in that one, however. Suicide Squad, I just I don't know why I feel like I'm part of the casuals that love Suicide Squad. I don't mean that in a bad way. It just seems more popular, basically. Back for Blood. Now we know we're getting that PvP showcase. Is it going to have like a separate thing as part of this Warner Brothers presentation? Um, who knows? And then the other one is Hogwarts Legacy, another title we know is coming. It's got delayed, and I'm kind of desperate to see more of it. Just see, right, what is the gameplay actually like? What are you going to be doing from day to day in that game? Because from the first trailer, it was like, well, all this is cool, but what am I actually going to be doing? Then the other series that Warner Brothers typically sort of do is Mortal Kombat, Injustice, that kind of stuff. Is it time for the next Mortal Kombat? I mean, it could be, but I think 11 wasn't miles years ago, like. But I guess we'll see how that goes. Damn, this is thirsty work. Okay, so the Ubisoft Forward, we've already been told it's going to be 1 hour long. Now, a conference to be 1 hour long, it for Ubisoft that worries me. Typically because Ubisoft are known for doing their long, drawn out kind of gameplay where they show like the first 10, 15 minutes of a section of a game or something. And I'm just show me a bit of a gameplay trailer and you'll have me. I don't need to see any more past that. Maybe just tell me, oh yeah, this is what I can expect in terms of this is what you'll do in your sort of day to day going throughout the game. But don't give me just a long drawn out gameplay demos. Like leave that for something else, like what Nintendo is going to seem to do, where they have their direct, but then their treehouse is going to be full of the gameplays. They've already said, look, you'll get the next Rainbow Six game in terms of Quarantine. That will be renamed. I think the one that we've kind of well, that's been heavily rumored then is Rainbow Six Parasite, but I that is one of in terms of Ubisoft, in terms of anticipation, that is probably my most anticipated from Ubisoft. I love the Rainbow Six kind of, I guess, gameplay, the dynamic, the kind of themes then. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with in this sort of, I guess, zombie-ish kind of like thing. Uh, we saw that trailer a while ago, and I'm hoping now to get a bit more of a glimpse. Uh, Bit of gameplay, definitely. If they could afford to maybe do maybe 5 minutes of gameplay or something, just enough then so I can kind of fully understand. Right, cool. This is for me. I want it. Let's go. And give me that release date. A lot of the Ubisoft titles have just been like, oh, indefinitely released, and it's like, ooh, it's kind of worrying. I get it. I get why it's happening, but it has killed a lot of the kind of hype and anticipation, really. Because I'm thinking about these games like, am I ever going to get them? So we're getting Rainbow Six Quarantine. We're getting Far Cry 6, more of that. That's something they've said. And we're also getting Riders Republic. I guess those are the three games that they said, look, we've delayed them. Now we're ready to sort of show a bit more and say, look, these are the firm release dates, hopefully. With Far Cry 6, we know the release date, but you know what I mean. And then we're going to get a live update or updates for their live service sort of games, maybe new DLC, that kind of stuff. And I'm guessing that'll be for your Assassin's Creed, your Watch Dogs, and whatever else they've got kind of going on at the moment. My prediction is I guess, a bit of a buzzkill, and I'm going to say we're not going to get Skull and Bones, we're not going to get Beyond Good and Evil 2, and we're getting no Splinter Cell. I just, when it comes to the Ubisoft stuff, I guess I'm being a bit pessimistic. I just don't think we'll see those games. I think they're still a long ways out. Um, Skull and Bones and Beyond Good and Evil 2 we got shown years ago at this point, and now it just feels like, uh, are we ever going to get them? Like we've not had any real updates, so we'll see how that goes. And then Splinter Cell is like, is this a joke to you, Ubisoft? We want you Splinter Cell, and then you give us uh, what was it? Obviously the Siege stuff, and there was like a mobile game, and it was like, really, is that what you're gonna do to us? Is this a sick joke? Yeah, that's my feelings towards Ubisoft. Oh my love, but come on, give me a trailer. I don't care if it's in your showcase or the Xbox One, preferably. Um, just give me those three green lights in the shape of Sam Fisher's headgear. Moving on to the Square Enix Presents. So 40 minutes is going to be, I'm hoping then, if it's only 40 minutes, it's got enough time to give sort of a bit of depth to the stuff they need to, um, and hopefully they can get a couple more sort of unveils, premieres, that kind of stuff. But it's another one that I'm kind of tempering my expectations for and be like, look, so what do we know already? So they've said we're going to have a deep dive of Life is Strange True Colors. That's cool. I don't need it. I'm already well, I've already pre-ordered it, not for myself, but the wife is heavily invested in Life is Strange, loves it, so she's going to be getting that, and I'm assuming I'll probably play it or watch her play it. Life is Strange Remastered Collection first look, so that's fine. Nothing really too much for me. The big one out of all these for me is Babylon's Fall. So we get an update on that from Platinum Games. Now, it's one of those games where I still like. So what is it? What am I going to be doing? What's I want more of the kind of story building. Give me more gameplay, and preferably tell me a release date. That's all I need left for Babylon's Fall, and you'll hook me in day one. We also have Marvel's Avengers, War for Wakanda details, so they'll just show off what they've got coming up. They might sort of detail a bit more on the roadmap in terms of uh, just upcoming DLCs, updates, that kind of stuff. Don't expect too much. Maybe there'll be a nice surprise where it'll be like, look, this is War for Wakanda, and then they give a character trailer for the next thing after that, maybe. And like, or maybe they just want to wait and be like, look, let's get the Wakanda stuff launched and out of the way before we kind of unveil who the next character is going to be. From there, so this is the weird one. New world premiere from Eidos Montreal. Now they've hyped it like this is their big one. This is the one they've said, look, we have this new world premiere from Eidos Montreal, in the big writing and everything on the graphic that they used. Is it going to be Tomb Raider? Is it going to be Deus Ex? I I don't know. I'm hoping maybe it's new IP, but uh, just because I think them doing a new IP would really benefit them. I'm not too big on either Tomb Raider or Deus Ex, um, but we'll see where that goes. Um, it's an odd one for me. I guess the biggest wish from the Square Enix presents, for me at least, uh, just get tested. I think my mic went off. My biggest wish is Final Fantasy for the Square Enix Presents. Give me more Final Fantasy, whether it's Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff, whether it's remasters or remakes of older titles, or Final Fantasy 16. Give me one of those things, and I'll love you forever. That's all I want. Final Fantasy 16 is up there in like most anticipated. Like it is up on the ceiling sort of thing. I need it. I need it now. After, well, yeah, 40 minutes long. I don't know. I So Final Fantasy is my wish, but for the purpose of trying to limit my expectations, I'm just saying all we're gonna see is what they've already told us. Life is Strange, Life is Strange, Babylon's Fall, Avengers, and that new world premiere. Anything else is a bonus. And then the big one. Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase. They've already said 90 minutes long. 1 hour, 30 minutes. Huge. That is going to be a buffet of Xbox Game Studios and Bethesda titles just coming at us left, right, and center. The only thing is, I'm also kind of under the assumption that a lot of the titles that we already know about, we're not going to see. So let's run through everything that they kind of have at the moment. So Halo Infinite, that's a given. We know we're going to see it. We know it's launching later this year. Hopefully they'll give us that firm release date, November, whatever, and we'll be happy and everyone will rejoice. Starfield is that one where I think everyone's kind of assuming, yep, Starfield is the next big one that is going to be at the showcase. It's not going to release this year, as far as I'm concerned. Next year, yeah, 2022. Obviously, I read a lot of all the kind of rumors, leaks, kind of, I guess, or just the news basically. Starfield, I feel instead of launching both Halo and Starfield, why not have it? Halo is the massive game this year. Starfield will be the massive game next year. Um, and it's just a way to do it. Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga, I don't know whether it'll be there. I want to say it will be. The last time we've seen it was a while back. That was the 2019 Game Awards. So, I mean, it shouldn't be too far out. Maybe we get to see a bit more of an in-depth kind of cinematic trailer. They might not have gameplay kind of ready, but I do want to see more Hellblade 2. I absolutely loved the first game. It was my game of the year it released, and yeah, anything's good with me. Avowed is one of those that I heavily want. I heavily want to see more. I don't think we will. It I think we'll get something else from Obsidian. Let's just put it that way. State Decay 3, not seeing that. There's no way we're seeing that. I think that's probably a 2023 game. So if anything, we'll see that next year at the next E3. Everwild from Ray. So we've seen like 2 or 3 cinematic trailers thus far. Give us some gameplay now. We need to know what the hell this game is if you're going to get us invested. It looks cool. The art style is gorgeous. I just need to know what what is game. What are we actually going to be doing? Because I have no clue. Perfect Dark only got announced at the 2020 Game Awards. That is not going to be here as far as I'm aware. That'll probably be a 2024, 2025 game if I had to put money on it. I don't think that's anything sort of in the near future. A lot of their titles, so they've got a massive list of all these big AAA titles, but I think some of them are quite far out. I think they just wanted to kind of say, look, we have all these games. It'll just take some time for you to get them. After that, then, so Forza Motorsport, um, it's heavily rumored that Horizon will be the next one released, and that'll be this year. So Motorsport might take that back seat for this year, get it even more sort of polished, and Motorsport could be the game next year to get. By the looks of it, they've said kind of, I say they, what I've seen is the rumors are kind of Forza Motorsport is really going to be this next gen leap. Um, and I'll be interested in seeing what that looks like because Forza Motorsport has always been known for its graphical kind of visual fidelity and how intense it kind of takes each generation leap. So it'll be interesting to see how it makes full use of the Series X hardware. After that, we have Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop. Now, these 2 titles, I'm like, do they show them at the showcase? Because at the end of the day, they are launching on PS5 this year. But I think it'd almost be a kick in the teeth to the developers of those 2 games if they don't show them and be like, look, these are our children too, instead of being like, no, they're not our children, sort of thing. Um, so I believe we might get quick look trailers of both of those and say, look, Deathloop's coming out X, Y, and Z date, Ghostwire Tokyo later this year, um, and then just kind of move on from them. The other wild card is obviously in terms of known titles, Indiana Jones. I think it's too early for it. I I would probably predict no, we're not going to see it. But if they want to kind of drum up that hype, drum up that sort of look, we have this on the way with a brief little CGI trailer that kind of sets the tone. Maybe that could be a thing, but I'd probably say not. We have Psychonauts 2 on the way. That's got to be imminent. I dare say it's probably. I don't think it'll be a shadow drop thing, which a lot of people seem to think it'll be. I think it'll be a case of Psychonauts 2, here's a trailer, and release date over the next couple of months. Um, Probably an August, September game if I had to guess. It seems like the perfect time for that kind of game to come out. And then we get to my predictions. So one game I didn't mention was Fable. I do think instead of just going outright dark with Fable until it's sort of ready to come out, I think they need to drum up a bit more anticipation, a bit more excitement, and give us just a taste of a bit more of what we can expect. So I don't expect gameplay. I don't think that's happening. My prediction is we get another Fable trailer, cinematic only, no gameplay, no date, just to kind of be like, we didn't show much last year, so here's a bit more in terms of what you can expect, but don't expect it anytime soon, sort of thing. Then my other predictions, so there's been a lot of talk of Xbox are going to have 5 new game reveals this year. Now that seems just ludicrous, seems it crazy. It is crazy talk. But then thinking about it, it's like actually it could happen. Coinciding with a lot of other things, a lot of what other people are maybe talking about. My prediction is not that it's going to be 5 new reveals. Of course, it's going to be 5 new reveals if that's what everyone's saying. Maybe my prediction is 5 new reveals, and I'm going to list them. So I'm saying The Outer Worlds 2. I think in terms of Obsidian, it's not going to be Avowed at this one. As much as I want it to be, that is my heavy wish. I need Avowed. So we're going to have Outer Worlds 2, Forza Horizon 5, Wolfenstein 3. Wolfenstein being, I that's another game where I absolutely loved Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. It was one of my games of the year of 2018, I want to say. I think it's time. Give us that Wolfenstein 3 trailer and say come in 2022. I'll be happy with that. And then the other two of the 5, I think, are the unknown games that are being worked on by Roundhouse Studios. So Roundhouse Studios came across to Xbox as part of the Bethesda acquisition, and they were already working on a game for uh, a year or two prior. I think they were formed in 2019. So it could be time to kind of unveil the game and be like, look, and this is this new IP coming from Roundhouse Studios, and it'll be coming in the near future. Maybe just put like a soft date of like 2022 kind of thing. The fifth game, I probably expect it to be Compulsion Games, and obviously We Happy Few launched in 2016 in early access, I believe, and then sort of full release in 2018. It could be time to kind of be like, oh, and this is the next world that Compulsion Games is kind of working on. And once again, it'll probably be one of those. It's going to be a further out thing than we kind of maybe expect. So my prediction: 5 new reveals, Outer Worlds 2, Forza Horizon 5, Wolfenstein 3, the new game from Roundhouse Studios, and new game from Compulsion Games. There's a lot more that could be in that bracket. So ZeniMax Online, on top of Elder Scrolls Online, they're also doing a new IP. That could be anything. I don't think we'll see it this year. What is it? Double Fine on top of Psychonauts 2. They're also working on an unannounced IP. I don't think we see that here. And In Exile Entertainment are also working on an unannounced game. I think that's also quite far out, so I don't think we'll see it here. Uh, Bear with me a sec. No, okay. And that will be it for Xbox. My two predictions are the 5 new reveals and then the Fable trailer. Cinematic only, no gameplay, no date. I think it's just too early for gameplay for Fable. And then the final sort of showcase, it's probably on the same level in terms of anticipation for me. So you have the Xbox and Bethesda one, that's all fine. And you also have the Nintendo Direct. Now, Nintendo Directs have always been typically outstanding. There's been a couple of duds, but for the most part, they when they need to, they hit it out the park. And I think the C3 one might, if I had to say, I'm probably overhyping something in my head. It's probably the Nintendo one. Um, oh yes, Tom in the chat's asking about sort of Elder Scrolls. Um, no, in terms of Elder Scrolls, Bethesda Game Studios are working on Starfield at the moment. I think that's what they're kind of being like, right, let's get Starfield out the door. Elder Scrolls 6, if I had to say a year, that'll be. So what year was it? What year is it today? It's 2021, so I say 2025. 20 yeah, 2025 for Elder Scrolls 6. That'll probably be unless they got sort of. So I know they got like four different studios. Maybe they've sort of put three studios on Starfield, one studio on um, what was I saying? Elder Scrolls 6, and then once Starfield sort of gets closer to its end development, they maybe move the people across. I don't know. I just think Elder Scrolls is one of those ones that's going to be out there. Um, it it it's going to be a long wait for it, as far as I'm aware. Who knows? Maybe their teams have grown that big that they can work on all these massive titles at the same time. But I think at the 2018 Bethesda showcase, um, Todd Howard was like, "Look, this is the next game we're working on, Starfield, but we're also working towards the game after that." So that literally, as far as I take it as Starfield first, Elder Scrolls later on. But yeah, moving back then to Nintendo. One sec, I need a drink. So in terms of, I guess, yeah, I'm overhyping the Direct, I think, in my head, but I can't help it. Nintendo just have that special place in my heart where it's like they've got a ton of IP that I just absolutely adore, and maybe I'll see some of those at this E3. So what do we know? We're probably going to get Breath of the Wild 2. I mean, like that's the big one that everyone's expecting. So hopefully we get that, and they say it'll release later this year. Perfect year too. Is the 35th anniversary year of The Legend of Zelda. So why not end it with a bang? Give us Breath of the Wild 2. Other games then that we know were kind of in the pipeline, we just don't know when. So Splatoon 3, which got announced at the February Direct this year. That could be that's one of those ways a wild card in terms of it could come anytime. I did it probably 2022. I would have to guess probably summertime. We also have Bayonetta 3. Haven't heard about that in forever. It surely it's time to kind of be like, oh, this is Bayonetta 3. Here we go. Proper cinematic trailer with some gameplay, preferably. We have No More Heroes 3 on the way. That's coming in August. Metroid Prime 4 is another one where it's like it's just gone radio silent. I know they've kind of they had to reset development at one point, so it could be it sent it further out again. But that I'm guessing no. I'm guessing no Metroid, no Bayonetta. We could be getting a new Donkey Kong. The rumors are that the Super Mario Odyssey team are working on a new Donkey Kong game. That would be quite interesting. Odyssey was a fantastic sort of game as far as Mario games go, one of the best. So I trust that team to do a good Donkey Kong game. In terms of Pokemon, so that's one that lives in my heart forever. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, those are coming in November. Absolute November, October, November. Either way, I need those games. I've kind of played Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3, and then after that, I kind of got lost along the way. I played X and Y, and I played Sword and Shield. So I'd be looking forward to kind of fill in the gaps now with Diamond and Pearl, and maybe even the sort of black and white stuff along the way. Got Monster Hunter Stories 2 coming out in July. We might get a quick little sizzle reel then. They normally do that of years all the upcoming games for Nintendo Switch, and we might get another one of that because we've had plenty of trailers of Monster Hunter Stories 2. I don't need any more. I'm gonna get it. I've already got it pre-ordered. Um, let's just sort of put it in there and get it out the way. We only have 40 minutes, mind, to get through everything they want to show. We have Skyward Sword as well, the HD remaster of that coming next month. They could have a bit on that and just be like, oh, maybe there's a special edition or something. Who knows? Um, and then we get to my predictions. So Nintendo could not fulfill any of these. Most of these are quite literally their predictions slash wishes. So kind of head and heart in battle, but I'm going to say it. So a new title from Monolith Soft to be announced. Now, for those who don't know, Monolith Soft are the ones behind the Xenoblade games. I absolutely loved Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I loved the definitive edition of Xenoblade Chronicles. I never played the original when it launched. I finally got to play it on the Switch, and it was fantastic. I need the next one from them. It's their emotional games in terms of they really do tug on the heartstrings with their sort of themes and story developments, the characters, so just enthralling. I just need more. Another prediction slash wish is Fire Emblem. Give me it in some form, whether it's a main series or a spin-off. But my prediction is it'll be a spin-off title, which I don't mind. I'm just getting into the sort of Fire Emblem universe um, with the Switch. So the when Three Houses came out, that was just blew me away. It was my first sort of foray into the Fire Emblem games, and it was fantastic. I could not uh, fault the game whatsoever. Another prediction then would be, I guess, only one Smash character to be announced. One sec, I think the dog wants to go out. The perks of live streaming. So, what have we got? We've got the new title from Monolith Soft. We've got the new Fire Emblem spin-off. Only one Smash character to be announced. I have no idea who that character could be. A lot of people seem to think, oh yeah, we'll get the last two characters announced. I think it'll just be the one, and then they'll put the last one in the August September direct that they're bound to end up doing. And then the final prediction slash wish is a bit of a wild one. It's I've not seen anything on it previously, but Mario Kart 9 is announced for holiday 2021. Will I get a proper good trailer with an emphasis on a kind of heavy roster of characters, much like Smash, where it'll be like maybe not everyone is sure, but it'll be a lot more than just the usual kind of roster that we're used to. That'll be awesome. Right, one sec. Dogs are barking. And on that note, those are my E3 wishes and predictions. So hopefully you all enjoyed the show. Couple of bloopers, I guess, already in the first episode. Kind of expected that. This will be going up on YouTube at some point over the next day, as soon as I can get it all put across. And that is it. So we've run through all the news. We've talked about E3, and I guess the next time I do this will be after E3 because I won't be doing this podcast. I might be able to fit the podcast in next week, but it might be a different time to where I'll normally have it. It might be just this sort of live mid reaction, so maybe just after the Xbox showcase. Um, but we'll see how it goes because I know there's loads of different announcements happening, and I'll just have to time it right. But we'll see how it goes. Thank you very much for tuning in and joining me. Hope to see you next time, and I hope to hear about all your predictions, wishes, and what have you for E3. Don't forget to tune in, so I'll be streaming a lot of the E3 conferences and presentations uh, along with my reactions. So let's all join in and kind of enjoy together. Hope to see you there. Thank you and good night.